Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Planning with Raven. So, today I decided to go live. I have no idea why, but we're just going to go with the usual program. So, today we're going to be discussing the 5 reasons to use a credit card versus a debit card. I got a lot of emails from you all regarding wanting information and why I would prefer to use a credit card versus a debit card. And so we're going to run through those options today. So one of the reasons I prefer to use a credit card over a debit card would be for online purchases. So for online purchases, it's safer to pay with the credit card when shopping online, according to the Federal Trade Commission. And so that's the FTC, right? So if cyber criminals intercept your debit card number, they can immediately drain your bank account. And so credit cards also offer better consumer protection through warranties and fraud protection. You just have a much easier time being able to do disputes with the bank if you do have fraudulent activity that happens on your bank account. And of course, for one of the most common reasons, I would definitely say for credit cards would be the rewards that you have, the options to use. So online purchases, that's something that we all do all the time. And I don't know about y'all, but I definitely recommend being able to have access to my funds readily available. And if fraud does happen, I would, prefer for it to happen on my credit card versus my debit card because those are, that's your money that you worked hard for. So another reason why I say using a credit card versus a debit card is a better option would be for hotel reservations. So basically, to secure a room reservation and to cover incidentals, hotels will put a hold on your payment card. So if you give a hotel a debit card, they will immediately pull the amount of the hold out of your bank account. And although the funds are returned during the checkout process, it may take your bank several days to reimburse you those funds, meaning those funds are no longer considered liquid assets to you. You don't have those funds and you won't have those funds until the bank does their processing. And then let's just say the hotel goes through, a couple of extra day processing for whatever reason, those funds are no longer available to you. So it's definitely important to, you're working hard for your money, so you want to make sure that you have the funds available whenever you see the need to have them. The third reason I say a credit card is better than a debit card would be for car rental. So this is a huge one because I used to work at a bank. I've worked at banks and credit unions, and a lot of consumers would be upset because when you rent a vehicle, they will hold, large amounts of holds onto your bank account. And that can be super frustrating, especially when you have bills and such to pay. So if you don't have a credit card, renting a vehicle will likely cost you more than the daily fee that you're quoted. So some big companies like Avis, Budget, even Hertz, like some locations, for example, they perform credit checks on many customers who rent with them using a debit card. And this is according to their website. So this is under the service agreement where they clearly state that they will run a credit check on you if you use a debit card to rent a vehicle with them. And so that's super frustrating. Yes, these are typically soft inquiries. However, soft inquiries have a huge impact if they continue to happen. So, although they're not the hard inquiries that impact your credit immediately, they're soft. And the more you do it, the more you will see that it's definitely impactful to your credit history. And so you may ask why? Why do car rentals actually charge, or sorry, not charge necessarily, but why do car rentals run your credit? And so basically, the reasoning behind them charging a fee on debit cards is so they have a higher rate at collecting funds at the end of the rental agreement. So you go and you use their services, and when it's time to pay up, you don't have the funds because a transaction hit your bank account and the funds are just no longer available. Well, that leaves the rental car place out of their money. And so they want to make sure that they, are doing all the options in their playbook to get their funds back in a timely manner as well. So some car companies might also put a hold on your debit card, which by doing so, it takes it takes us back to the bank releasing those liquid funds in a timely manner. So, again, the thing is, you want to make sure that you have the funds available to you whenever you want them. And the best way to do that is by using the bank's money, which is, of course, using those lovely credit cards that they have. One of the fourth reasons I would definitely say is to build your credit history. So there's a lot of ways to build your credit history, you all, but one of the easiest ways is credit cards. And I know that credit cards get a bad rap, but they are actually, like I said, one of the best ways to build a healthy credit score. So when you get a credit card, it usually shows up and it gets reported to one of the credit bureaus, or typically all three. So that's TransUnion, Equifax, and also Experian. Therefore, they show up on your credit report. So using your credit card responsibly will help you build a solid credit history and hence improves your credit scores. So just briefly, when it comes to building your credit, it's super duper important because that kind of plays into making those huge life choices, such as like buying a vehicle, renting a home, renting an apartment, buying a home, and the list goes on. So it's super duper important to make sure that you are not waiting to build your credit when you actually need the credit. Instead, you are building your credit now. So when it's time to go in, make that big purchase, you can do it without hesitation. The last thing you want to do is be told that you're not approved for something that you really, really want because of your credit when that's something that you could be working on now. The fifth reason I say that using credit cards would be a better option versus debit cards would be for the rewards. So you all know that I'm all about getting the most bang for your buck and making sure that you benefit from the transactions that you make. So earn reward. So I know that I mentioned this earlier doing the online purchase section, but let's just talk about rewards a little bit more in depth. So for those of you who make like a daily Starbucks run, you might as well earn some rewards on the money you are spending. So I know that a lot of you may say, well, Starbucks has their own rewards program, which is definitely true. A lot of companies nowadays have that option available, but that's where you have to do some, balancing in some research, which is going to give you the most bang for your buck. And if you are using a lot of different companies, like reward programs, you may want to consolidate. So it's definitely something to look into. But there are two most common ways to earn rewards. So cashback and points and or miles. With cashback, you get a percent back, and that's usually 1 to 5% of each purchase back as a statement credit. Now, that's like getting a small discount on everything that you buy. I know a couple of credit card companies, one of the big ones would be Wells Fargo. They don't just give you a statement credit, they actually can deposit the funds into your bank account, which allows you to do whatever you want with it, essentially. So that is an option. American Express has great rewards, but so do a lot of other credit card companies. So we'll definitely save this for another topic. But points and miles is definitely the second one. You can earn points and or miles on every purchase you make, and then you can redeem them for flights, hotels, or statement credits and such. So those are my top 5 options that I use credit cards for and why I recommend using a credit card instead of a debit card. So online purchases, hotel reservations, car rentals, helps you build your credit history. Let's get that going, get your credit report built, and then earning rewards. So this was definitely a quick video today, you guys, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And then continue sending me questions to my email, and I will do what I can to do some videos on them. Thank you for tuning in for Planning with Ravyn.